Boy, do I have something fun to tumble today. This is probably the most rare material that I've ever even had in my shop. This is Louisiana Opal. I didn't even know this existed until a guy by the name of Rick contacted me and asked me if I'd like to have a few pounds to tumble, and I said, of course I would. So this is, I say it's rare. All this was mined out by 1991. There is no more of it left in nature that anybody knows about, at least. So I'm privileged to have this, and Rick specifically asked me to tumble it, not cab it or anything else. So that's what I'm going to do with most of it, but he had all this mixed in as tumbling material, and there's these nice slabs here, and I can't help myself. I've got to cab a couple of these, so I've set these aside. These are a little more uneven pieces, so they'll be better for the tumbler. He did send one piece separate and said this is better cabbing material. It looks about the same to me, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never seen this stuff before. He sent this little piece separate, and he said this is better carving material. This seems more like sandstone, where the rest of this is quartzite. So what this is quartzite with little pieces of opal in it. And he also sent a bunch of documentation, 2 complete books on it. This has a whole bunch of articles just from different magazines and things about Louisiana opal. And to be honest with you, I haven't read most of this. I did read a couple articles from here, and then he sent these individual little pictures, and they have some information on the back of them, a couple different little blurbs on the back of those. So anyhow, this is a quartzite material, and from what I read, it doesn't look like much when it's rough. You've got to polish it first, and actually have to let it dry out. It sounds like it takes a couple of months, 2 or 3 months to dry out completely, and it keeps getting better over time as it dries out. So I may tumble all this and then just hang on to it and then film it after 2 or 3 months and then put the video out so you get to see it that way. I'll probably check it out both ways. Anyhow, super fun material. Like I said, it doesn't look like much now, but I'm really excited to see how this works out. So let me get the barrel out, and I'll fill up the barrel, and we'll take a little closer look at a couple of these pieces, and then we'll get it rolling. Well, you can definitely tell this stuff is quartzite. Very grainy. And grainy rocks don't usually tumble very well, but Rick tells me this stuff does. There's some variation in color. You can see a little flash once in a while. A little bit of purple in that one. It has a purplish tint to it. So excited to see how this stuff tumbles up. There are a couple pieces in there that are already polished a little bit. See the purple in that one? That's cool. And then this one also had some purple in it. See that? Up near the top. It's a little in the bottom right corner there. Oh, there it is, all the way through it. Ooh, look at the blue down here. Okay, this is going to be fun stuff. Let's get that barrel loaded up. Well, there's enough material here to fill up 2 of these 3-pound barrels, but since I've never tumbled this before and it's so rare, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm just going to fill up 1 barrel for now and see how it goes, and then if everything goes well, I'll fill up another barrel. So I'm just going to throw in some of these. I'm looking for some of the more rough pieces because they're going to take a little bit longer. And I guess the rest of these are kind of alike. I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 full. Some smaller ones in there. Yeah, that's about good right there. And then I'm going to fill up water. Actually, let me just get a couple more small ones in to fill the little gaps. We'll put water in there so that it's just below the top of the rocks, kind of like that. A little too much maybe. About like that. And then I'm using 60/90 grit. I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons. And then I'm going to put this on the tumbler for a week. And we'll check on it then. All right, these have been tumbling for a week. I just emptied the barrel. They're dry now, but when I emptied them, they're wet. Some of these look really, really cool. The iridescence in these is just awesome, which I didn't see before now. So these are going to be really incredible rocks. I'm very, very excited about these now. I was excited before. I'm more excited now. So let's just take a look at a few of them. This one's shaped up really nicely. This stuff all held up really well, by the way. It looks like a sandstone. It just looks like it just fall apart in the tumbler, and it's much tougher than it looks. I did have some little pieces chip off, but that's really common for the first week of tumbling. Any sharp edges tend to kind of chip off, and then after that, that usually stops. So anyhow, I was showing you this one. This is all done except for a little rough spot right there. This piece looks good on this side. It's a little rough right in there. There's a low spot right here. That part's going to take a long time to tumble. So what I'm going to do with some of these is either cut them on the saw. I'm going to cut this one right across that low spot, and I think it'll look better as two smaller rocks, and I think it'll tumble better that way. Something like this little end that's not quite done yet, I'm going to just touch that up on the cab machine over here, and then that'll be ready for the next stage and won't have to go in for another week of tumbling, and I can retain that size. So let's just look at a couple others. You can see how this is rounded off on the edges. These were sharp edges before, and they're rounded off nicely. Still needs a little work on that side. This is one where I might cut off just that little corner because there's a little low spot right there, and it'll just hurry it up a little bit. This one needs a lot of work yet, but you know, I might grind on that or maybe even cut off a little bit of that just so I lose a little bit right in there, and then I don't lose as much on the rest of the rock. So I'm going to do a little work on these, and now that I'm more confident that this stuff will hold up, I'm going to run 2 barrels this week, so I should be able to get most or maybe even all of this into 2 barrels. So I'll check in with you again next week and let you know how things are going. After last week, I'm pretty excited to look at this. Stuff is very cool. Got a lot to go yet, but definitely some color there. Look at that. Last week I told you I was going to cut a couple of these and then grind some of them, just take out the worst spots and put them back in the tumbler. Well, I didn't do that. I ended up grinding every single rock in here because they grind really quickly, and I thought rather than lose any more size, I'll just grind them all down. I'm going to do the same thing with these this week. So that one maybe could use a little bit of grinding right in that spot right there, but a lot of these are just ready to go on to the next stage already. And what's not, I'm going to grind over here, and then I'll come back and tell you what we're going to do next. Well, I've got it all shaped up now, so I'm going to move it to my Lotto Vibratory tumbler. I don't think there's enough to fill the whole barrel, so whatever space is left over will be filled with ceramic media. And then I'm going to use 220 silicon carbide grit, and I'm going to tumble it for 2 days. I just emptied the barrel, washed everything off, and then I put these back in the barrel with a tablespoon of borax and some water and let them run for about 45 minutes and then rinsed them again. I just want to make sure that any grit that's in there is washed out before I go to the next stage. So some of these do have little pits in them. This one in particular, it's one of the prettiest ones in there. All kinds of color in there. It's green, it's purple, but it was kind of crumbly when I was grinding it. There's one spot right back here that's pretty smooth, but the rest of it, like I said, is just sort of, it was crumbling away, and it had so much color that I just decided to stop while I was ahead, and hopefully I'll polish the stuff that isn't pitted there. Some of these are showing more color than others, and I'm not seeing this from the same angle you are. You're over there, I'm over here, so hopefully you're seeing some of the purple that I'm seeing in that one. And some of these show more color than others. I am seeing some color in that one. So I don't see any color in that one. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when these get all polished and dried off. If they show a lot of color, if they don't. So the next step is to put them back in the barrel with 500 aluminum oxide. I just have a little bit of that left in here. I think I have some more in the cabinet over there. But this only needs a half teaspoon of this. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of borax. This is the ceramic media I'm using with it. So you can see I've got probably an equal amount of ceramic media as rocks. So this is going to run for 3 days this time, and so I'll see you then. These just came out of 500 grit, and although they're really well rinsed, I don't want to take any chances of any slurry drying in any holes that I might have not gotten out yet. So that's why I'm keeping them underwater. This time I thought it'd make more sense for me to get on the same side of the rock with you so we can see the color together. See the purple in there? Sometimes these have green in it. Oop, there's some green down the bottom. See that? Flip it over, see if we can see it this way. Not seeing too much green there. Oh, there's some green. And I lost it. Well, sometimes they show green. Let's just look at the purple and enjoy that. Let's get this dried off and see if it's got any shine yet. It should have shine after 500 grit. By the way, this side feels much smoother than this side, just touching it. You can see that's getting a shine, but there is some undercutting. And this side, there's a lot more undercutting, a lot less shine. This stuff reminds me of the matrix in a pudding stone, which is also quartzite. It always gets kind of pitted like that. So let's take a look at one more and kind of feel around, see if I can find a smooth one. That one feels pretty smooth. And there it is, dried off. Still has a little bit of that undercutting. Not too bad. Don't see any color in this one. So I'm wondering how much more of that color will show up after these dry out. They're supposed to continue showing more color after drying for like a month. They continue to improve apparently. So I guess right now I'm going to get them back in the tumbler. This time they're going to get a half teaspoon of 8,000 grit aluminum oxide plus 1 tablespoon of borax, and they're going to go for 2 days. Alright, it's all out of the tumbler, completely polished. Let's take a look at the polish. Here you go. So there's quite a bit of variation in this material. This piece polished pretty well. It's one of the better pieces. And then there's pieces like this that didn't polish so well. These are little pits in there. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but like that little yellow spot right there is not shiny. There's that big yellow spot. So all those little yellow parts right there, you can see, I guess, little pits. And I ground some of this stuff out, but you don't know how far down to grind. That side looks pretty good, and then this side not so good. that spot I probably should have ground down a little bit deeper, because you can see that it probably just goes a little bit further and then you get into that more purple color. Alright, so that gives you an idea of that, but I want to read something to you. That one's pretty cool. Alright, so got these pictures here of some finished things, and then on the back it has some information. So it says, there's a reason this material is called hidden fire opal. When dry, the fire is very faint on the rough. When wet, the fire disappears on rough and most cut stones. This makes finding it almost impossible and orienting it a little tricky. And then it says some more stuff, and then later on it says, after cutting, the fire will get stronger for 2 to 3 months. So these have been out of the tumbler for 2 days. I let them dry for 2 days. So there's some tips on how to wash it and polish it and do different things with it. So I'm doing those things, but I'm going to let them wait for 2 to 3 months and see how they come out after that time. So you can see there's some purple in this one, depending on how you move it. And I'm assuming, based on what I just read, that that's going to get a lot better. So I'm going to do a couple of things. Like this piece right here had a lot of color before, but it really didn't polish very well. This part's pretty rough. So I'm going to take some of these pieces that didn't turn out so well, and I'm going to do them on the cab machine. I'm not going to make cabochons. I'm just going to polish them by hand that way rather than on the tumbler. I know with some rocks, like pudding stone, for example, they get little pits when you tumble them, but when you do them on the cab machine, they come out great. You can see this one has a pretty good shine in some places, but like that side isn't good at all. So I'm going to start on the second wheel. I think that might do the trick. Well, that was worth the effort. Look at the shine on that now, all the way around. This side too. Even showing some color. Wow. Much, much, much better. I'm so excited about that. I'm going to try another one. This one, you can see right up there how it's just not polished at all. So I'm going to give that one a try. I'm not going to bore you with the actual polishing. I'm just going to show it to you when I'm done. Alright, this one also came out much nicer on the cab machine than it did tumbling. It's shiny all the way around. So I'm going to do one more. This is the worst one. That looks like a brick. Back here, it's pretty good. But that just, there's nothing there. There's no polish whatsoever. So we'll see if I can do this one. Not sure if I'll grind that hole out or not. We'll see how it goes. Here's a good side of that rock, and I did take out that hole. I couldn't get that crack out, but the hole's gone. And here's the bad side. And you can see now, not very bad. It's looking pretty good, actually. So this stuff works much, much better in a cab machine than in a tumbler. Speaking of cabbing, the next thing I'm going to do is make a couple of cabs. Based on what I just saw here, I think this is going to go really well. I have it ground to the shape I want. There's a little dop wax on there, but that will grind off. I drew the girdle line on with an aluminum scribe. I didn't want to use a Sharpie like I usually do because this rock is porous and I'm afraid it'll soak in too deep and not grind off. This one cabbed up nicely. Got some nice purple color in it. I think you can see it there. Really good shine on it. And this one did too. And on the top there, you see the green? But it's just that little bit of the top that got the color in it. The rest of it doesn't show too much color. but it cabs up beautifully. These have been drying out for a little over 3 months now, and a lot of them don't show any iridescence at all, or very little. I can't see anything on that one, but then some of them do. So I picked out some of the nicer ones and put them over on the right side there, and we'll just look at these. But a little bit of green showing up right up there, and of course there's some purple in there. This one is one that didn't tumble well at all, but it had pretty good iridescence on this side. Of course, it's hard to get it to show when you want it to show. There we go. This is a very nice one. This stuff is very, very fun. Just some purple in that one. Oh, a little green in the middle there. See the green? See if I can get it. There we go, right there. Oh, I guess there's not a lot of color in that one. Not a good shine on that side either. What about this one? Oh yeah, another green up in the top. Purple and green. One with quite a bit of purple in it. You see it? Yep, there's a little green. Thought I saw a little twinkle of green up there. A lot of purple in this one. And what do we have here? Green. Green and purple. I don't know if there's a trick to getting the color to show. I'm just randomly moving around and seeing it here and there. I like that one quite a bit. See how this one looks. A little bit right in the middle there. If you'd like to try some Louisiana opal yourself, I'll leave a link in the description to Rick's eBay store. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.